Well, hello everyone. It is a Friday, November the 17th, 2023. I am Delbridge, Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and this is your status chat. Now, this is a rather late edition. We were caught out and didn't get to the Studio K as we're in right now, until after 7 o'clock, so I apologize for the delay. Now, we do have some football tomorrow. We have one interesting game that I'm familiar with in the SEC, and that would be Florida and Missouri at Missouri. And I'm going to put my wishful thinking. I don't bet, but I'd put my odds on Missouri over Florida, and I haven't seen what the professionals who know what football is all about. Missouri seemed like they did a good job last week, and it is in their house. So do have a lot of love for the Florida fans as well as those in Missouri. We've got Georgia. Well, they're not really playing anybody this week. That'll be a good fight for them. They're playing Big Orange, but that ought to be one-sided. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. But, hey, I can be surprised sometimes. So, let's see. I don't think the Alabama game will be particularly stunning. Who they got there? Chattanooga? I think that's the Mocs. That ought not be too much trouble. I think even UT beats the Mocs usually. And so it's, I don't know what their schedule is, but... So we'll just see in the last 2 weeks of regular football. We do have the Iron Bowl, obviously, next weekend, and we'll watch that. I think it's broadcast on CBS, but don't take my word for it. Check that out. Now let's go ahead and get with this program. If you like this content, please go to CallDelToSell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when each Friday's blog has been uploaded. Thank you. Well, this week I think we have some good news on a couple of different wave fronts. Let's go ahead and look at what our rates are based upon the Mortgage News Daily. You see it right there. We're going to look at the 30-year fixed mortgage rates, and we'll see what we've done this week. Looks like we're off of our peak of 8, and everybody said yay, but it may not stay that way. Remember, we've talked about Chairman Powell's kind of reassertion that, it wouldn't be hard for us to do some more. So we came off of that rate after some good reports we expected. So it came down, as you see right there. Let me bring that up just a little bit for you. We have Mortgage News Dailies, and we see this was on the 10th. I believe that was like last week, if I'm not mistaken. 7.56 and it's 7.37. So we came down a little bit over a week. It's not dramatic, but we've come down a little bit, and we see that it's all pretty much 3/4 points or better year over year. So it's moving in the wrong direction year over year. We did get a little bit of a correction here. Biggest one was on the 14th. That came down a little bit. So what else are we going to talk about? Well, let's talk about this story right here. This is from Reuters, but it's good news, I think. It says, this is by Lucia. I apologize, brutalizing that name. This was, of course, Dateline today at about 10:30 a.m. Central. Updated 9 hours ago. U.S. housing starts rise moderately, tight supply supporting new construction. And I think that's largely because the builders are still thinking we're on a short supply, and we're going to need some new houses because we still have more and more people. And I think that's probably a fairly good bet. Now, what they are building may be something that we could dig deeply into. So single-family housing starts increased 0.2% in October. That's not a whole lot. Single-family building permits. Now, this is not a big one, although when your permits are bigger than your starts, that's always a good sign because we know not every permit's going to get built. But we see we did have a little bit of an increase in starts there. But this is something we shouldn't let go over our head. The multifamilies. Multifamily starts jumped 5% basically, and permits increased 2.2. So they're getting some built on the multifamilies. They're going to get them going. And I think we'll spend a lot of time on that. We just need to know that we're finally kind of turned around and got a little bit of a jump on housing starts. Home builders have an opportunity to capitalize on the low supply of homes in the market, and that's what they're doing. They're gambling that we're not going to have another glut of previously loved homes show up on the market. Jeffrey Roach, chief economist at LPL Financial, Charlotte, North Carolina. If mortgage rates move slower in the latter half of next year, we could see some improving demand for residential real estate. Single-family housing starts, which accounted for the bulk of the home building, rose 0.2% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 970,000 units last month. Commerce Department Census Bureau said data for September was revised up to show starts rising at a rate of 968,000 units instead of 963, which is always a good sign when it beats expectations. Previously reported single-family home building peaked in May. We have some interesting parts, I think, is this next bit. Starts, and this is what I want to highlight for you. Starts surged 12% in the Northeast and increased 12.3% in the West, but dropped 4.9% in the densely populated South and fell 0.9% in the Midwest. So what are we seeing here? This little line right here dropped 4.9% in the densely populated South and fell 0.9% in the Midwest. So Northeast and the West, big growth. In the South, we actually dropped a little bit. Of course, we've seen some pretty good influx from those other areas, and so perhaps that might have something to do with it. A survey on Thursday showed that confidence amongst home builders slumped this month. So they're building more houses, although they're a little bit less certain about the economy, and they should be, because we've got the Fed talking about we may not be done with our raising of rates. National Association of Home Builders noted that builders anticipated lower sales over the next 6 months, with mortgage rates stuck above 7% since mid-August. Again, you know, we've got people always trying to guess and time the market. Some people think it's going to go down. Other people think it's going to pretty well much hold straight. I think that's where it is. I think it'll hold pretty stable, nothing exciting one way or another through the rest of this year, and we still may have that rate in December. So I wouldn't rule a rate hike quarter point in December, but what do we know? We're just guessing. The rate on a popular 30-year fixed mortgage rate average 7.79 in late October, the highest since November 2000. That would be 23 years, I would say, according to data from the mortgage finance agency Freddie Mac. It has since retreated following the data this month showing the labor market cooling. Well, that's a good sign. Remember, we said bad news in the labor market is probably good news for mortgages. Same thing with these rate hikes. It's when the labor market expands, we're in trouble. When the GDP keeps beating expectation, that's not a great sign. That's something that we may end up seeing some rate. Still high at 7.44 this week. Mortgage rates could grind lower in the weeks ahead. This is a supposition. That's what a lot of people are hoping for, as the 10-year benchmark Treasury note has declined in the wake of the inflation-friendly economic data. Well, again, people are just trying to guess it. That's all they're trying to do. So I think we'll get past out of that. We will come back to our conclusion for this segment. Hello, I'm Delbridge of Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you are currently unrepresented and would like to know how to compare up to 3 properties side by side and room by room, then go over to my new YouTube channel, CallDelToSell. That's 1 L and Del, no spaces. Watch the demo on Real Scout, and then call me and we'll set up your exclusive ad-free account today. So I think we'll get past out of that. We will come back to our conclusion for this segment. We're building more homes, and I don't know if I read to you or not, but the backlog of multifamily homes when the COVID thing, I think, has held them back. So they were accounting for quite a bit of that jump, but they're really in a demand that we really need those for. So it's going to take a while for them to get caught up on the single-family home. We see that they did, in fact, increase, but it wasn't a great deal. It did beat expectation, and that's a good sign. We have people still believing that rates are going to come down the second half of next year. That's a long ways away. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, now might be a good time to get her done. Remember, refi should always be an option for you if rates come down. And if rates were to continue to climb, it's kind of a scary thought to think they're going to get a lot higher than they are, but they could. They could get above 8 and hang for about a year. Remember, last year we were about 0.75 of a percentage point to a point higher than we were year over year. We may be seeing the same thing by the end of next year. We don't know. So certainty is a hedge against uncertainty. So if you move now and get locked in, you can always improve your position if the numbers work out your way. So let's wrap this middle segment up. Well, our numbers for this week look remarkably like last week's. Not a lot changed in it. Last week, 11/10/23, we had 20,552 in the opportunities. That went up. We had 3,300 in the under contract still showing. That went down just a tad. And with the energy ratio between those two of what's opportunities and versus what's already taken but still showing, got down to 16%. This week, 11/17/23, we had 20,657. That's up just a little bit, not meaningfully, no. And 33.23 Worthy under contract still showing. That also increased a little bit, not meaningfully. And we had 16% was the ratio, the same as it was the week before that. So we hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving. And I don't think we'll be posting day after Thanksgiving, so we're going to take that week off, and we hope everybody has a great family time wherever and however your family is defined. We hope you have a good one, and we want to once again welcome a Big Orange to the SEC in Georgia. Go Dogs, Roll Tide, get them Gators if you want. And Mizu, we do appreciate your showing last week. It was a phenomenal game to watch, disappointing to some, but I was proud to see the happiness of the winning team. And I think everybody, we know it's got to rain sometime, but I think everybody needs a little sunshine every now and then. Have a great weekend.